Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's continue to this now. With the festive season program of the City of Cape Town just over the halfway mark, an appeal has been made to the public to be extremely careful when visiting beaches. To date, 7 people have drowned and 1 person is still missing at sea. The city has numerous projects in place to ensure safety at beaches, including the tagging of children. Well, joining us now on this is a City of Cape Town Mayoral Committee member for Community Services and Health, Patricia. Patricia, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Just can you give us an update in terms of drowning incidents, in the city over the festive period? We know, of course, that officials have dealt with both fatal and near drownings in Cape Town since the beginning of December.
Hi, Unati. Thanks for the invitation and thanks to your viewers for watching at this time. Yes, we've had 7 fatal drownings and 11 non-fatal drownings. If I can just mention a few beaches that this has taken place in. It was at Clifton Fourth Beach, at Strandfontein Beach, Lagoon Beach, Wolfgat Coastline, at Kochelbaai, and unfortunately at Sonwabi, there was 3 gentlemen that was lost at sea. 2 was recovered and 1 is still missing, as you said earlier.
Just talk to us about some of the interventions that you as the city have introduced, over the past couple of months, just given the history of the incidences that you are seeing at beaches or at, public areas where, for instance, children also go missing.
What we have done is we've gone through incredible lengths to make sure that we have enough lifeguards on duty. We also have our support services, for example, law enforcement agencies around, social development is around with the Identikids project, where we have thus far, and I mean, we're mid-season, we've already tagged over 85,000 kids, but there are still kids that's going missing, and we have fortunately reunited 263 children with the caregivers still only up until now. And the concern is, however, that parents still do not pay enough attention to their kids. So we're doing as much as we can, but we always ask that we please share this responsibility of looking after your child and making sure your child is safe on beaches.
And how has this Identikids project worked for you? And just talk to us about in terms of the numbers and how many people that you managed to reach.
Awesome. So up until the 1st of January, we have tagged about, like I said, 85,900 kids across our 16 identified beaches. And it was very successful. I mean, last weekend, we've hit our highest number as yet with tagging over 39,000 children just for the weekend itself. But we still find that parents are leaving their kids at our containers. Parents are not keeping their eyes on their kids. Parents are still allowing the kids to kind of wander off. And we find that we need parents to take more responsibility and more accountability for their little beings and making sure that they know where their kids are so that they can help us help them to make sure their kids stay safe. Because we do know what it's like. Our beaches are flooded year on year. And this year, so far, it's been, I think, overcapacitated at most of our pavilions. And we really need our parents to come on board with us.
And of course, there have been, suggestions that, entities like yourselves should at least introduce some form of, community swimming lessons in terms of defensive swimming, as an example, given the low and high tides that you normally experience, particularly, across the year, but particularly in summer. I mean, we've spoken to various experts that say the problem is still, the fact that people still go out to sea, even when there are warnings not to do so.
Fact is, Unati, that the first thing that kicks in when swimmers are in danger is unfortunately panic. But what we always do is there's a few steps that you always need to follow when going to our beaches. One, for example, is always swim between the red and yellow flags. 2 is make sure that you listen to your lifeguards. There's lifeguards on duty for a purpose, to make it safer, not only for themselves, but for you as well. So please listen to the lifeguards. Do not go into the water if you consumed alcohol of any sort, because that is when panic, I think, it multiplies by 100. And then last but not least, when we do have the rip currents, especially now over the spring tide that's coming in, the rip currents are not really manageable, and we can't really say which time the rip currents are going to come up. When you are in that position, the first thing that you need to do is relax yourself. If you can keep afloat, keep afloat. Do not fight against the current, and make some type of hand signals so that the person not only swimming closest to you, but also the lifeguards can see that there is a need, and they will then come out surely and come and assist you.
Just some of the lessons, during this period that you will then be implementing, going forward. Just talk to us through some of those plans.
We've got the Learn to Swim program that we have started a good few years, I think about 5 years back. We're going to improve on that Learn to Swim program. What we've also said was this year coming, I'm also going to ensure that our staff members also are equipped to know the basics when it comes to swimming and when it comes to keeping themselves above water, because we do have some of the ladies that is in the Identikids program that unfortunately cannot swim. So if a child is in need, and maybe they are closest by, the best they can do right now is shout for help or scream for assistance for somebody to come close by. So that program is going, the Learn to Swim program. But importantly, we're going to try and stretch it out to our primary schools so that the primary school learners can learn to have the basics of swimming, how to keep upright in water, how to try and keep afloat. So those are the basic steps. And sometimes it's easier said than done to say do not panic, but we know that's the first thing that kicks in. But we're going to try and give you the security that you are able to save yourself. And I think that is the basic things that we want to put in place.
And to what extent, as we wrap up our conversation, do you then go out, proactively to communities, especially where, there are no swimming pools for some children? Do you go out there and initiate some of these interventions? Because, the problem doesn't start at the beaches. It starts at homes where some kids don't even have swimming pools at schools.
Yeah, we've got brilliant ward councillors out there that's putting their ward allocations to use. They actually stretch out their hands to the primary schools, offering transport to the closest swimming pool. I do know for last year, Athlone was one very famous swimming pool where kids went out and did the Learn to Swim program. We actually have also some swimming schools that teaches kids how to swim at their leisure, which means their own private pools. So what we do as the City of Cape Town, or as councillors, we try and partner with those NGOs and NPOs to make things easier for ease of business. For example, we make sure that those NGOs and NPOs or swimming schools will have access to our facilities without paying, free usage, making sure that they equip the youngsters to be able to look after themselves when in the waters.
Patricia, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Mayoral Committee Member for Community Services and Health in Cape Town, Patricia van der Ross. All right, let's take you to this now.